Finding problems, that's easy. They exist in every community. I'm Terry Springs, your host. We're looking deeper, and we are talking solutions, finding out how we all can make a difference. Now on Talking Solutions, I want to welcome Markus Rothkranz and Cara Brotman. We also have my friend and coworker, Desiree Peeples. You're the one who put me on to Markus and Cara. Markus, I've been told you have a very cool website.
HealAnything.com. I wanted something everybody could remember.
Well, we'll make sure that everything will be included on our Talking Solutions Facebook page, along with the podcast of the interview. I'm seeing, Markus, you've got a lot of things to your credit. You're a well-known global health expert. You're an author, motivational speaker, artist, movie director. Yep. You got all kinds of titles next to your name.
I've been around, yeah.
You live here, but you're everywhere.
I'm everywhere. I love to travel. The world is big, life is short. Got to see what's out there.
I like that attitude. Desiree was telling me you are well known for your vegan practices and your lifestyle.
Raw vegan practices.
Raw vegan, that's like the gold standard in my book.
It is.
That takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, but great results.
No, it doesn't. It takes no time and effort. This is how every living thing in the world eats. You pick something off a tree and you eat it. It takes no effort.
Okay.
Effort is when you have to cut it and cook it and boil it and, do all this stuff to it. But the way we're supposed to eat things in nature is you walk up to a plant, you pull it out of the ground, you pull it off the bush, put it in your mouth, and you swallow it. How hard is that?
And when it comes to dealing with one of the most important things in your life, your body, you should put a little effort into it. I don't like how people say, oh, fast food, it's fast, it's easy, I don't have time to eat. You better make time to eat or else you're going to be running into problems later on.
What they don't understand is the effort comes later on in life. The last 40 years of your life, the effort is trying to keep yourself alive after eating that comfort, convenience food. That 30 seconds of convenience is costing you 30 years of hell later on.
Where you're compromising quality of life. When you enter into your 20s and 30s, if you're not eating right, you're going to start to feel pain, and it's just going to accelerate as you get older.
And you see it in the mirror.
And you feel it inside, and it's so easy. I've known people that said, I just thought that it was getting older, that this is how you feel when you're 35, until they switched to a plant-based diet, and actually even raw, and they realized, oh my goodness, this isn't the way it has to be. It was from the food I was eating. So many people just don't realize this. They don't make the connection.
Food is medicine. There's no question about that. Markus, Cara, where did you come to a raw vegan approach to life? What happened in your life to take you that direction?
Well, I almost died, and I think most people get into the health thing because they have to, not because they want to. It's human nature to see what you can get away with. Everything is convenience and instant gratification. I grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere, and for me, I never really was a society person. I wasn't into doing what everybody else was doing. I always wanted to do the right thing. I wanted to be the good boy. I never to this day drank or smoked or did a drug or smoked a cigarette. I never even touched coffee.
Oh, now I do like coffee.
But yet, by the time I was in my 20s, I was dying, literally. And I didn't know why. I said, I'm doing all the right stuff. What's wrong? It took me a while to realize it was eating the standard American diet, otherwise known as the SAD diet, which is basically processed dead food that has no life in it. It was white flour and sugar and dairy and milk and cheese and, bread and pasta and that stuff you don't find in nature.
It doesn't affect everybody the same way at the same speed. He was born with a compromised immune system.
Yeah.
So it was affecting him really bad, whereas somebody else, it wouldn't affect them until they're 20 or 30, but it does affect you sooner or later.
It just hit me a lot harder. Things happen for a reason. If it didn't happen to me, I wouldn't be helping people heal all over the world. So I guess sometimes the bad things have a purpose, and they're not really bad things. It's a gift. But I was doing everything I said I was supposed to do by society, and it was killing me. And it just took a while to figure out maybe some of the things they're telling you to do isn't exactly the best for us.
And I think that's one of the things I've learned, too, from following Markus for so many years, is he always talks about, instead of figuring out what do you need to do, you need to figure out what you need to stop doing.
Right, exactly. And people say, what do I take for this? What do I take for that? I said, stop looking for an instant fix, like taking a magic pill, a magic herb, a magic anything to try to make your problems go away. That's like trying to put a fire out with water while you're pouring gasoline on the fire at the same time. You're fueling it. That's not going to work. You have to stop doing what's causing the problem in the first place. And then most of the problems will go away. It's not a matter of trying to find something to take, because what most people do is they're looking for something to hide a symptom. They have an ache, they have a pain, they're low energy, whatever it is. So they take something.
There's a drug for that.
Right, exactly. And that's not the answer. The answer is to stop doing what's causing the problem, and then most of your issues will go away automatically. It's a lot easier that way, but they don't understand food is an addiction. If people don't think food is an addiction, try to stop eating bread or cheese or anything like that for a month and watch what happens. You're going to be going crazy after a while. Sugar, they've found in testing, is 9 times more addictive than cocaine, and getting off of it is really difficult for a lot of people. It's a serious issue. The price you pay for that is a life of health problems and aging, all kinds of things.
Markus Rothkranz and Cara Brotman are with us, along with my friend Desiree Peeples from here at Beasley Media. We are talking about a shift, a change in attitudes toward food and the way you live your life. Part of the problem, to my eye, Markus, I think a lot of people think the stuff you were just discussing, foods that aren't in nature, things like sugar that are highly addictive, are harmless. They believe there's no problem with me eating this cupcake with all the frosting.
Exactly.
It's harmless, but it's truly not.
It's worse for you than a lot of things that are obviously bad for you. It's the stuff that you don't think is bad for you that you do on a daily basis, because everybody knows smoking and drinking and drugs are not good for you, so they do it occasionally, not all the time. It's the thing you do all the time, every day, 3 meals a day with the snacking in between that you're constantly putting in your body. People don't choose the food they eat based on health properties. They usually pick something because of the way it tastes and the texture, the way it feels when it's on your tongue and when you're eating it. And they chew it twice and then they swallow it because that taste and texture has been used up. They don't realize, well, gee, I need to chew my food properly until it's a paste. People don't think like that. They only eat based on the way something tastes, the way something looks, and the texture. It's instant gratification. That's what usually the food choices are, not based on health qualities. People think they're immune to everything. They think, oh, I can do anything. I'm bulletproof.
It's just food.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it when people say, I cannot live without my steaks.
Right.
They're very resistant to the idea that they might be able to change their lifestyle.
Once you get into a habit, it's hard to change because it's human nature to get into a pattern of doing things. And once you establish a pattern, you're so used to it, it feels weird to stop it. Even though there might be like a little tiny thing in the corner of your mind saying, yeah, but this other thing sounds right. It sounds like the more logical thing to do. But when you're stuck in a pattern, even like dysfunctional relationships, food is just a relationship. So even like people that are in dysfunctional codependent relationships, it's hard to stop. Even though you know it's bad for you and it's killing you and it's draining you of your life force and your energy, they still keep doing it. Why? Because they're used to it. People would rather stay with something they're used to, even though they know it's dysfunctional, rather than trying something new that might be better because they want to stay with what they know. And this is what we've been told our whole lives. Eat this way. You got to have on your plate your big chunk of protein with your starch, right?
Of course.
Mashed potatoes, your rice or whatever.
Yeah, a couple
and then
of
some
them.
kind of dead, wilted green thing that nobody ever touches. I've seen people go in like fast food places and they actually pull the tomato and the lettuce out of their cheeseburger so they can just have the bread and the meat.
That's just sad. Like you said, standard American diet.
Exactly.
Sad.
Exactly.
Well, and that's the other thing. Markus also has this approach where he has it more simplified. He says people tend to overcomplicate things and that they have a hard time accepting that it really is as simple as how you break it down to be.
Yeah.
Eat your fruit, eat your veggies.
Yeah. I don't even call it fruits and veggies. That sounds boring. That sounds like school teacher talk. I say just something you find in nature. And people think it's boring. They think raw food or plant-based diet is like, okay, if I have to be healthy, it's carrot sticks and celery. I don't want to do that. I want my fun stuff. So that's why we wrote the Uncooked book. I grew up on Pop-Tarts and creme brulee and pizza and I don't want to stop eating that. Nobody does. So we figured out a way to make the same stuff, but healthy versions of it. Because I worked in Hollywood for 20 years. And the cool thing about Hollywood is nothing's real. It looks real, but how can we make this cardboard and this plastic look like the real thing? And that's kind of what we did with the food. It's like, let's take some healthy stuff and make it look and taste like junk food that we're used to. And this is like revolutionary. You can keep eating your kung pao chicken and your creme brulee and your garlic naan and your Indian food, your Thai food, your Chinese food, and your desserts, chocolate cake, whatever. And it's so good for you that the desserts can actually be a main course. There is no rules anymore. As long as it's from the book, eat anything you want, as much as you want.
Didn't I see something for bacon in here?
Yeah, we have
people
bacon.
Love bacon.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
hot
yeah.
Chocolate's my favorite.
And it's so easy to make. And that's another rule that we had because we understand what people want. They don't have time anymore. Nobody wants to actually make their own food. Convenience and speed and minimum. That was kind of like a running rule of this book. Have as few ingredients as possible. Some of these things only have like 3 ingredients. It has to be easy to make, low effort.
And you're forgetting, though, the main thing. It's got to taste delicious because anybody can make health food, but not everybody can make it taste really good.
Yeah.
And there's some restaurants out there giving healthy food a bad name because it doesn't taste very good.
Yeah, it tastes like sawdust.
And then people think, oh, I wish I could be healthy, but I just enjoy food too much. You know, they think they can't be healthy and still satisfy their cravings.
I think the time is another issue. A lot of the recipes are really quick and simple to throw together. It's not like you have to be slaving in the kitchen all day.
Heat kills the life force of the food. In nature, nothing gets heated over 118 degrees because that's when the enzymes are killed. If you take an apple and you plant it in the ground, you get an apple tree. If you bake the apple, boil the apple, micro whatever, and then plant it in the ground, what happens? Nothing. It's dead. So something happened. High heat kills the life of the food. And if you eat dead food, the last 40 years of your life, you're going to watch yourself slowly decaying into an unhappy, dying thing. So this book, the secret is you can't heat anything over 118 degrees. What people have to understand is it's not cold food. Some of it is, but when you get food from a restaurant and they serve it to you piping hot on a plate, sometimes it's too hot to touch. You got to wait for it to cool down. What temperature is it when it gets just right where you're going to eat it? It's warm. Well, guess what? It's around 118 degrees. A hot tub is only 101, and that's hot. You get in there and you go, it's hot, right? That's only 101. 118 Fahrenheit, 45 Celsius, is hotter than a hot tub. So you're not depriving yourself of warm food. That's a big misunderstanding about raw food. It's cold. It's like carrot sticks and celery. No, it's not. You can actually heat it. But the way you heat it is kind of the unique thing. We use dehydrator, and the dehydrator takes a little longer. You put it in there, you set 118, you walk away. You come back a few hours later, and it's ready to go. People think, I don't have 2 hours to make food. Well, you're not standing there for 2 hours. It took you 3 minutes to make it. Then you walk away. Sometimes you can put it in the morning and come back after work, and it's ready. Or you go to sleep, and you wake up, and it's ready. You have a life in the meantime. It doesn't take you any extra effort, really, to do it. You just have to kind of plan a little more. Not everything has to be warmed, of course. We have a lot of great snack foods, and a lot of it is actually like freezer chocolate. It's actually cold. You put it in the freezer and pull out of the fridge whenever you want, or like chocolate cheesecake or something.
So raw vegan is not necessarily cold.
Right.
118 degrees is not cold.
Exactly.
People need to realize that. I know that we have a tremendous problem in this country with type 2 diabetes especially.
Right.
I attribute a lot of that to diet and lifestyle.
It is, totally.
And it can end your life.
It's one of the most preventable things you can do. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
Colon cancer, one of the easiest to get rid of things, but it's completely diet-related. They've found connections with diabetes, even type 1. They're finding now when they feed babies cow's milk, it's directly associated with type 1 diabetes. And with type 2, what people think, well, it's just bread and carbs and sugar. Well, why is it that you have high blood sugar? Well, they're finding now, and there's a lot of scientific tests backing this up. I have a bunch of it on my website too. But meat and dairy and animal products are actually a major cause because they're saturated fat, and the animal fats clog the insulin receptors, which don't allow the cells to open up to accept the sugar. So now you have too much sugar in your body. So actually, meat, animal, and dairy products are a major contributor to type 2 diabetes.
Well, blocking insulin receptors and insulin being the problem.
The sugar, the bread, and the carbs, that's just like the nail in the coffin, just asking for it. But it's all connected. People are always trying to find that one thing to blame. Oh, it's the bread, it's the milk. It's all of it. It's how it combines together. And you get everything from arthritis to cancer to you name it. Each person gets affected differently based on their choices and their patterns.
In studio with us today on Talking Solutions, Markus Rothkranz, Cara Brotman, and Desiree Peeples, and we are talking about changing your dietary habits for your health. We talk about especially type 2 diabetes all the time on the show.
It's the easiest thing to get rid of. There's actually a guy in Arizona, Gabriel Cousins. He got 6 people. There was a documentary on this. He got rid of his diabetes in 30 days. They had this one woman. She was like 300, 400 pounds. They got her off of insulin the 3rd day. And it's just changing your diet. That's all it is. And it's funny because 2 of the people actually snuck out and literally ran across the desert because they couldn't take it anymore. They were so addicted to the food they were eating, they couldn't even go through the 30-day course to get rid of their diabetes. That's the problem. People are addicted to what they eat. They would rather have a debilitating, dangerous health condition than change the food that they eat.
A lot would, but then a lot would be open-minded to make the change.
Some
if
are,
they knew that food was the culprit. But so many don't even realize that. Like that man with psoriasis, you told him, quit eating bread. It was hard, but he quit bread for 2 weeks and his psoriasis was 80% gone. And he had said, I cannot believe something as simple as quitting bread was the cure for my psoriasis. However, a month and a half later, it came back because he couldn't stay off bread.
Yeah, it's hard to resist when you quit.
I think that's the problem is people just cannot stick with it long enough.
Right.
Because, like you said, the addictions, the habit, society, the convenience.
Yeah.
This book, we are giving them an alternative. Non-bread. It is amazing. Just like bread, you put stuff in it, wrap it up.
I love crepes, cheesecake. That's all in there.
It's in the book.
Yeah. Love on a plate.
Our cookbook.
Yeah.
In fact, Cara, your name comes before Marcus's.
Well, those are the recipes of mine.
I was being a gentleman.
Cara is a raw vegan chef, and her brother opened the first raw vegan restaurant in the world.
We did. We both did in San Francisco in 1995 before anybody ever heard of raw. And people were like thinking that we didn't cook the pasta. It was hard.
It's all salad. There's nothing else.
Not even that. They thought meat was raw.
They thought normal food, but just not cooked.
Exactly. Oh. And when people started to taste it, it was just incomprehensible that you could make a meatless meatloaf. What we were doing was just crazy back then. Nobody was doing food like this, which is why every publication worldwide started to interview us. Wow, what is this new delicious cuisine?
It was groundbreaking. I read the articles, and they didn't even understand the concept of raw food.
Right.
They thought it was like raw eggs or something.
Exactly. The concept was inconceivable. And once people started to learn about it and hear about it, people were flying from different parts of the country to come try this food. It was really exciting because nobody was making food like this. You couldn't go anywhere in the world but this little place in San Francisco on 9th Avenue to get food like this. That was in 95, and today there are over 400 raw food restaurants worldwide. At least that was a couple of years ago. I'm sure there's a lot more. I feel really proud to be part of that trend. I come from a background of chefs, and we really know how to mix herbs and spices to make things taste really good.
On Talking Solutions, we take an issue that we've got problems with, and we find better ways of doing it. And that's exactly what you and Markus are talking about. Changing your diet. We all know insurance is crazy expensive. Drugs are more expensive all the time to deal with things like type 2 diabetes. But you're saying we can take food and changing our dietary lifestyle and put an end to this stuff.
Right. And, you know, you mentioned health insurance and drugs are expensive. All this regular food that people eat causes dementia, weak bones, dependency on other people to take care of them. People need to understand this is your health insurance. Eating right today.
Like I mentioned when we were all chatting, I believe everything is best done gradually. That's how it works for me. That's how we have moved away from eating meat and a lot of things in our household. But how does somebody who hasn't done any of this, what the heck are they going to do? How do they start?
It's really easy. Some people do it overnight. It just resonates with them and they say, that's it. You only eat things you find in nature. Basically the produce section in a grocery store. Most people buy things in a can or a box or a bottle, but right around the edge, that's what you're supposed to eat. Stuff from nature.
We're 98% in the produce department.
Yeah.
That's where we spend most of our time.
And then you just get creative with how you put the stuff together, which is what our book is. But as far as how you get into it, you can go slow or you can go fast. How fast do you want to heal? How fast do you want to change life? And actually, one of the things, health doesn't really matter to people as much, at least in America, is what they see in the mirror. That's really what it boils down to. They want to be attractive. They want to be sexy. So, okay, the best way you can do this is to live this way, to lose weight, to have that amazing body, wrinkles, hair loss, all that stuff. People, that's $1 billion thing is self-image. This addresses all of that. You actually start getting younger. And that is one of the big things that draws people more than the health stuff, because they think, oh, I can just take a drug or an herb to make this health problem go away. But you've seen people that get plastic surgery and they just look weird because they're unhealthy and they're
won't name any famous names.
But you know what I mean? You can tell something's not right when they're unhealthy, trying to fake it. But when you're really healthy, it just comes naturally. And there's something about your energy, the way your face looks, the way your body looks. You can just tell there's something real. And not only at the energy level, I'm 55. I look better and feel better now than I did when I was in my 30s. It's your lifestyle choices, and that's it. So when you say, how do people change? First, what is your motivation? Is it your looks? Is it your health? Whatever it is. And as far as what you physically do, you can say something as basic as only eat things you find in nature and don't kill it with high heat. Or I wrote the book, Heal Yourself 101, which is a free download off healyourself101.com or healanything.com. It takes you through the steps. First, stop doing what's causing the problem. In other words, stop putting the bad stuff in you. Secondly, you got to clean up the mess you've made. This is like rebuilding a house, a car, a body, a life. It's the same. Clean out the rust, the termites, and the rotting stuff. Sandblast it clean, and then only put good rebuilding stuff in there. This walks you through it. There's a fasting process. It gets you down to nothing, and then you rebuild from there. It's simple. Sometimes I tell people, just stop eating. Just do water. Just do nothing but water for a week or two or a month, and then do nothing but green juices, and then get a blender, and then do nothing but blender drinks, and then work your way up to plant-based raw vegan food. Take it at whatever speed you want, but the body needs time to detox. 30, 40 years of bad choices, your cells are made out of what you ate. So if all you're eating is pizza and donuts, that's what your cells are made out of. And you have to get that out of your system first. Otherwise, it's like painting nail polish on cow dung. It's still bad underneath.
Nice visual on that one.
Yeah, I got that.
So really, the big thing is, and people don't want to go through that healing process, but you need to clear the crap out before you start the good stuff. And it takes time. You know, the longer you've been doing it, the more time you need to get over it. But the sooner you start...
will it be worth it?
Yeah, the sooner you start, the sooner you're on the road. And then the final result is you don't even look like you did before. You're 20, 30 30 years younger. Not just the way you look, but your energy, your hormones, everything. You are literally almost a teenager again. And you'll never get sick again. I mean, I don't even know what it's like to get sick anymore.
I don't understand people in this country. They just look so bad at a young age, whereas people in different countries that are double their age are still riding bikes. There's 85-year-old women riding their bikes. They're fit and thin because they've been moving all their life and eating from nature.
That's another thing. It's always comfort and convenience. You're sitting, and standing is important. Most people are not happy with their life. They're working in a job they don't like. They're in a relationship that's codependent. Everything that they have, they're not happy with. They say, well, that's part of the reason you're not healthy is stress. You're not happy with your life, period. So it's what you get rid of, what you stop doing, that is probably the most important step of all. Having the courage to step away from what you know isn't working, cleaning out, getting back to zero so you have almost nothing. And people say, well, my body's going to waste away to nothing. Yeah, it might. You might look like skin and bones for a while. But it's like when you rebuild a house or a car, it's just a frame. That's not the finished result. That's just what you got to get down to before you rebuild. That's part of the process. There's people that rebuild old cars into show cars and old homes. And the same thing with your body. It's no different. You can be amazing. You can outshine anybody else if you take the time and effort to do that.
You got to hit the reset button on your life.
Yeah, spring cleaning isn't fun. When you do spring cleaning in a house, you don't want anybody to come over while you're doing it. Cupboards are open, the floor's got piles of crap all over it. That's your body when you're doing this. It's not fun. It's not beautiful to look at, but you got to go through this. You got to clear the cupboards out.
I can attest to that. It gets worse sometimes before it gets better.
Yeah, and you got to realize that. There's going to be some smelly stuff coming out of you, including old emotions and anger and frustration and, all this stuff just comes out of you, and not just physical, but emotional. And after a while, you're just drained and empty, but then you start rebuilding. Like you feel best after you had a good argument or something because you got out of your system.
Yeah, good cry.
Well, it's the same with that. You get it all out of you, then you feel refreshed, and now you're rebuilding to become a new person. It's a beautiful reawakening, rebirth, and then once you are on the right road, if you stick to it, you'll never get sick again, probably. You will outlive everybody you know. I mean, it's not a contest, but quality of life is what it's about. Being fully alive till the day you die, not watching yourself slowly waste away for 40 years, wishing you were young again, being angry and bitter at the young people. You can stay young until the moment you die.
That would be quality of life.
Yes.
We've got Markus Rothkranz and Cara Brotman, plus Desiree Peeples from here at Beasley Media. And we are talking about changing things, starting with your dietary habits so that you can live a healthier life. Where does someone go to access information?
HealAnything.com. And the main core book, Heal Yourself 101. It's a free download if you don't want the paperback.
It is an amazing book. It will become your Bible if you give it a chance.
Yeah.
And I can say, too, that Markus's plan, I guess, it doesn't cost a lot either. A lot of people say, well, I can't get healthy because I can't afford the supplements. I can't afford the herbs. Honestly, with his plan, you don't need that. I mean, you just need the right mindset to go into it that you want change and that you want to get better.
You actually don't need anything. I have a book called Free Food and Medicine Worldwide Edible Plant Guide. If you can't afford anything in the grocery store or herbs or anything, I show you how to get them for free in your neighborhood, in your front yard. Some of the most powerful healing plants and food is dandelions and burdock and mallow, and the weeds that people are picking and trying to kill is actually the most powerful. I go out and I pick the dandelion flowers and eat them. It's the highest source of lecithin in the world. And then I take the leaf, the root, put it in my blender with some pineapple or some dates. Try it sometime. You will feel like Superman.
People don't notice because we're so prone to, we get our food from these animals in the grocery store. They don't realize that there's an abundance of healthy things just right outside their door.
Pine needles, 300 times more vitamin C than oranges.
I just saw a recent video where Cara was showing how to powder your own herbs.
Plants are amazing. You just have to know what plants to pick and what they do, and that's what my edible plant guide does. It shows you, no matter where you live, how to recognize the wild plants, the weeds, quote unquote, living in your area, and how to pick them, what to do with them, what they're good for. There are people that live off that stuff for free. I don't take the excuse, I can't afford this lifestyle. You can't afford not to. What's the dialysis machine cost? What's the triple bypass? I would say any investment you make in your health is going to pay you back 1,000 times over down the road, if not immediately.
This is what I mean when we say the show is talking solutions, because that's what you're offering.
Right.
And in studio today, Markus Rothkranz and Cara Brotman and Desiree Peeples talking about a change in your nutritional habits that will benefit you all through your life. Things that are important, the nutrition, the movement, the enjoyment of your life. And we're talking about avoiding and overcoming things like the all too prevalent type 2 diabetes and a lot of medical conditions.
We offer a lot of amazing raw food recipes on our YouTube channel for free, as well as recipe videos to go with a lot of the recipes in the book.
So you'll find out how easy it really is.
You can watch us doing it. You just go on YouTube and watch us physically making it. I have one where I show how to make 5 different types of milk within 30 seconds or less.
With a Vitamix?
Yeah.
Got it.
And if you've got more time, you can watch how they make these Disney-type productions for simple recipes.
Yeah.
I think that was my favorite one that you guys did.
We do have some of the most entertaining recipe videos on the internet. I mean, I worked in Hollywood for 20 years, and that was my thing, to suck people in with entertainment. We're not lecturing people. We're making it fun, entertaining, and sexy, and it's family entertainment. Everybody should know this, and whatever it takes to get people to be inspired to live this way.
I have seen you on different television programs all across the country. I know that you have been sought after for the knowledge that you're sharing with us today on Talking Solutions. Everybody could spend a few minutes checking into this.
It's the way everybody should live, be fully alive.
I totally believe that.
And not only that, it's excellent for the environment, the planet, to eat like this.
And I have to say, for those of you who can't see, they both look like supermodels walking in here.
You guys look great. And you will see this on our Talking Solutions Facebook page, so you should go there for all of the links and the information and the podcast. It's Markus Rothkranz and Cara Brotman and Desiree Peeples. Thank you so much for joining us today on Talking Solutions.
It's been a pleasure to be here.
It has. Thank you.